To take good pictures, you have to concentrate and take your time. It takes some effort to focus and to find the best frame. And with the distractions of the many choices we have to make, like camera settings, lens choice, jack choice, possible angles or compositions, vertical or horizontal, we often lose track. As a photographer, you have to be patient, but with today's fast pace, it's not always easy to get into the right flow. Even when we're relaxed, there's still a certain degree of hurry. And this interferes with our photography. Everyone suffers from it once in a while, including me. Last year, I went to Iceland for the second time. And it had been a long time since I really done some landscape photography. And we had chosen many locations for our trip. Actually, a little bit too many. It was a wonderful trip, but afterwards I wasn't satisfied with the pictures. Partly because we always had beautiful sunny weather, so no dramatic skies. But mostly because I didn't get into the flow and take my time before pressing the shutter. We just had too many locations picked out, and once on location, I suffered from fear of missing out. Instead of focusing on a few top-notch compositions, I started shooting every composition that even slightly appealed to me. The result was only a handful of good pictures on a 10-day trip. All this is in stark contrast with the first trip to Iceland I took 10 years ago. The only planning we had then was to buy the ticket and reserve a car. No locations planned, just a map and a lonely planet at hand in the car. Totally relaxed, no pressure. When we encountered an interesting scene, we stopped and shot some pictures. These locations were often not even tourist locations. Of course, we also passed by some well-known and much photographed tourist locations, such as Jökulsárlón and the village of Hofen. But some top locations we simply drove by, just because we were not prepared. Diamond Beach, for example, one of the top locations. We had never heard of it, so we didn't go there on our first trip. But we took our time, first exploring the location and then looking for the best composition. Although my camera technique 10 years ago wasn't as developed as it is right now, I managed to take many great pictures. I was more relaxed and in a better mindset. I didn't shoot that many pictures, but the ones that I shot were better than the ones of last year. Shooting a good image takes time and effort, but you really need the right mindset to shoot wonderful pictures. Hurrying won't help at all. The more you're trained in seeing, the faster you will be able to shoot images while still getting beautiful results. There's a lot of decisions to make when taking a picture. What camera settings, lens choice, the angle, compositions, foreground, subject, middle ground, background, supporting subjects, light. So we need time to process all this information and make the proper decisions. Nowadays, in the digital era, we can shoot images as much as we want. The cost for taking one image will be the same as the cost for taking thousands. How many images do you shoot on a good day? Hundreds or thousands? Or only 10 or even 1 or 2? And how many of these images are good ones? When I started in photography, I was shooting film. 36 images on a roll. Every image that you shot did cost you money. Money for the film, money for the development, and money for the prints. As a result, we didn't shoot hundreds or thousands images on one day. No, that would have been far too expensive. With only 36 or 24 frames on a roll, you did watch out not to shoot them up too fast. You took your time. You just couldn't afford to shoot them at random. The cost of film and the low number of frames on a roll forced us to be more careful when shooting an image. As a result, more time was invested in composition, in light, subject choice, and all other decisions that we had to take. Fewer images, but better results. These days, with digital cameras, I also sometimes make the mistake of working too fast and not spending enough time on a composition before pressing the trigger, especially when photographing subjects that I don't master 100%. In flower photography, it rarely happens to me. Then I know what to pay attention to. Here I know roughly what works and what doesn't, and I'm able to process all information rapidly and take the right choices. But with other types of photography, such as landscape photography, I don't feel 100% sure. Here I still doubt too much. And when I don't pay attention, this doubt results in a fear of missing out. And then I photograph every composition that seems even slightly interesting. I might get some good shots, but in general my best images will be better if I shoot fewer images, but when I spend more time on them. This becomes very clear when I shoot light paintings. In light painting photography you use a handheld flashlight to illuminate the scene. And it will take a series of attempts before you build up the best light composition. It's really a process of trial and error, where you improve the image attempt after attempt. For a single light painting, you can easily spend half an hour to an hour for a more complex light composition. And on one night, you can take 4 to 5 light paintings maximum. This makes selecting the right composition extremely important. You don't want to waste your time on a bad composition. Everything has to be right before you start shooting images. Because of this, 9 out of 10 of my light paintings are good images. For me, photography is learning to look at the world with different eyes. The camera looks at the world differently, and only by taking your time you will master this art. Start looking without a camera. And only when you find a good composition, pick up the camera. And then again, you have to observe all elements and take your time. Don't strive to take a lot of pictures, but strive to take good pictures. The best way to get into the right flow is not to set expectations too high. Enjoy the act of photography itself. It doesn't always have to give good results. Some days will be bad days, and that's fine. Rushing yourself at such times has the opposite effect. Put your camera aside for a moment and take your time to just look around. Sometimes it helps to unwind and really see. So, aim for quality and not for quantity. Take your time.